Welcome everyone. Happy new moon in Virgo. My name is Vina Lene Rachel, and I am a moon priestess, a intuitive, a channeler of the divine, and I host these moon circles every new moon and a full moon to let you know what's going on in the cosmos, how to work with the moon at hand and the energy at hand. And I usually do some other things like lead some meditation or breath work. I always do a tarot reading and just whatever else comes up. So I welcome you tonight, and I hope that you are having a great Moon Day Monday. It is Labor Day here in North America, so I have had the whole day off. I closed my studio today because it happened to be a moon day as well, and yeah, I've just spent the day really soaking up the moon energy. I've spent a lot of time with my Virgo husband, who is a Cancer moon, so he is ruled emotionally by the moon. Like, his internal moon is literally ruled by the moon. So I just knew that things were going to be a little extra sensitive with him today, and sure enough, he was a little extra sensitive today. So I just spent some time with him, we also spent some time together cleaning the house, which is Virgo energy as well. So that was a good thing for us to do together, was kind of declutter some spaces and get rid of some things that were sitting around in like junk drawers and whatnot. And yeah, just getting our home in order. So that's what's been going on with me, and feel free to tell me what's going on with you. Feel free to say hi in the chat. If you're just getting signed on, let me know where you're from, how things are going for you with this new moon in Virgo, and let me know if there's any Virgos on the transmission. Do we have any Virgo suns, moons, or rising on the chart? I'm also curious if you know your Venus sign. What sign is your Venus in right now? So I am a Venus in Virgo, which means my sign of love, relationships, money as well. It is all related to Virgo energy, and my husband just so happens to be a Virgo. So my romantic partner is a Virgo, and I have Venus in Virgo. I also am really attracted to an energy of like organization and cleanliness, because Venus kind of gives us our description of like what turns us on or what we're attracted to. So like, it doesn't happen very often, but like if my husband actually like cleans the house or like cooks me a meal or does something with like organization of the day or cleanliness of my home, that really turns me on and that really makes me happy. So yeah, Lisa, hi Lisa, welcome. She says she's a Virgo as well. Yeah, you just had your birthday, Lisa. So happy solar return, and I'm glad you can be here for this new moon. How are you feeling with this new moon? Feel free to share that in the chat as well. So I just wanted to take a couple of minutes for everybody to get the notification. It looks like we've still got some people popping in right now. So I'm going to get ready to get started. I've got all my tools here. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I try to only let these moon circles last about an hour. So I want to go ahead and get started. And if you are catching the recording of this, just know that this recording will be up on Facebook. And I also put the replay up on my website under the Moon Musings section of my website and on my YouTube channel. So if you don't follow Vina Lene on YouTube, feel free to follow my channel, and you'll see both the tarot section of tonight's replay and just the full replay of the moon circle in case you don't have time for it right now. So I am going to take a nice big drink of water here and get myself grounded with a deep breath. I'm going to invite you to take those deep breaths with me, and then we will officially get started here. Okay, so if you'd like to join me in these deep breaths, find supportive posture. Bring your hands together at your heart. Really stack the spine. On an inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Join them at the top and bring an open mouth exhale to the heart. And just kind of shake it out, let it go, loosen up, sink to the earth, that apana energy, that heavy gravitational force that's so strong with this new moon. Let's take 2 more cleansing breaths to relax and shake it out. Inhale overhead, open mouth cleansing breath. And maybe 1 more with a little bit of sound. Inhale And just sink in. Soak in the energy of this moon in this present moment. So I am transmitting to you from my home office, and I have the window open right now just because we're going to be smudging in a moment. So I always think that you hear it, but it seems like you don't when I check out the replay. But if you hear some loud noise in the background, I just live on a busy road and it's a busy time for traffic. So you might hear a truck or car go by, but it's just the energy, and we can learn to tune it out, or we can just kind of soak into it and let it be part of our vibe tonight. So welcome if this is your first time joining me on a moon circle. So what is a moon circle? I thought that might be a good place to start, because this particular new moon in Virgo is kind of bringing about a ceremonial or ritualistic energy. And anytime we tune into the phases of the moon, especially the big ones like the new moon and the full moon, we can really align that energy into our own life and help us not only understand how the world is operating around us, but how we're operating, and then maybe how we can align that energy to support our highest good, support the person within us that wants to go after our goals, support the person in us that wants to honor our body temple. We have this energy inside that's affected by the moon, and we're made mostly of water. We know the moon affects the tide, so certainly the moon is going to affect our energy as well. I mentioned gravitational force. So anytime we're in this new moon energy, gravity is stronger on the earth. We feel more grounded. We feel more connected. And this is a really beautiful time to tune within in a space like one of these circles, either virtually or in person, or just to hold your own new moon ritual or ceremony. The moon cycles through every 29 to 30 days ish. And with every new moon, we get the opportunity to start again. New moons are a time of new beginnings because we are at the beginning of the next lunar cycle. So every month when we start to get into the new moon energy, we start to kind of feel this need to shift or do things differently or let go so that we can create space for the new. For example, I spent a lot of time today cleaning my house, organizing my office, decluttering, a lot of things that I needed to do to create space so that tomorrow I can really dive into my work and I don't have to worry about picking up and cleaning my home. So a new moon is a time for us to slow down, to kind of honor ourselves, our home, our personal spaces, our personal energy. And it's a time for us to kind of reflect on what we need to let go of from the last lunar cycle or anything in the past, and what we need to make space for moving forward. Now, new moons aren't necessarily the time to take action towards your goals. That's going to happen more when you get into the crescent moon, when we start to see that first little sliver of light in the moon in the next maybe 3 days. Right now, we're just kind of making the plan, or we're connecting, or, we're writing down our dreams, we're journaling, we're really taking time to just prepare for it all. So we can honor the new moon by making plans. We can honor the new moon by letting go. We can honor the new moon by filling out our day planner. I mean, there's a lot of different ways, but every single moon has a particular astrological influence. And that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. So this particular moon is in the energy of Virgo. Virgo is the sign of the cosmic Virgin, and I'm going to talk about what that means in a moment. But I also want you to understand that this is the energy of the priestesshood or the priesthood. This is a holy moon. This is an energy with a very high holy frequency. So we really want to honor the energy of ceremony, ritual, prayer, sacred space. So with that, I'm going to open up our moon circle officially by bringing in the 5 elements. So this is something I do with every moon circle. And if you don't have these elements with you at home, that is okay. We are connecting through a magical space called the ether. And when we connect in this online space, all of the energy I'm bringing in here from my home space is going to reach you as well. So you're going to feel the vibrations of these elements I'm bringing in tonight. But you could certainly bring in your own elements if you have the same objects and items, or you could bring in your own personal items that you feel called to represent the elements. Really, this is just for you to have some ideas of what you could use for this Virgo new moon circle. So I always like to begin with the element of earth, and I always bring in a crystal. I actually have several crystals that you could work with tonight. The first one I am wearing, this is rose quartz, and it's hard to see here. It looks kind of clear, but it does have a pinkish tinge. Believe it or not, I didn't have any rose quartz here in my office aside from my mala. So I'm wearing this tonight. Rose quartz is a pretty basic crystal that you can find in most metaphysical or crystal shops. It works with heart energy. It's an energy of, or a stone that brings an energy of kind of purification as well. Roses symbolize that pure essence, and that's the energy of Virgo, or the cosmic virgin. So the first element you might want to work with is rose quartz. The other element you might want to work with tonight is aquamarine. And I have 2 different versions of this, and if you've never seen aquamarine before, you might think it's like a turquoise or aqua color. It's actually more clear. It's kind of a crystalline, goldish clear stone. And I have 2 different versions here, so you can see, it doesn't want to focus on both of them at once. But you can see here, it's got some white in it, some goldish colors, and it's kind of cloudy looking if I would describe it. But aquamarine, I was just telling the owner of our local crystal metaphysical shop that I think aquamarine is underestimated as a crystal because it has powerful healing properties. It can help you with the physical body with healing. It can help with your emotional stability. It can help with mental wellness. It can also help with energetic alignment through your chakras and your energy meridians. There's just a lot of potent energy that comes with aquamarine. And we're working with Virgo energy tonight, which is all about earth energy and the body. So we want to bring in some sort of stone that really promotes healing with the body. So I suggest using aquamarine to also honor this new moon. Now, a couple of other random stones, if you have these in your collection, I'm wearing pearls tonight. Pearls, again, are a sign of purity, or a sign of kind of the alchemical seed or egg of creation as well. It's something that's kind of created in this dirty mollusk type thing, and then there's this really shiny, beautiful, valuable thing that comes out of that. So you could be working with pearl energy tonight. You, especially if you're working with fertility and conception, or if you're pregnant, you want to work with pearl if you have it. And then I just happen to have a rose rock. So bringing in again that essence of the rose. If you happen to have a rose rock, you could also use that in your ceremony tonight. So those are my earth elements in regards to crystals and rocks and gemstones. And then I also always bring in the earth element of a smudging stick or saging stick. And this happens to be, Lisa's on this transition, this giant pine needle sage that she gifted me. And she said, I would know when I need to use it. And sister, I felt like I needed to use it yesterday. So I smudged the whole house yesterday with this one and lit it up and brought it out of its virginity, so to say. And I thought it'd be perfect to keep using with tonight because I've been using it with this moon. Now I'm going to hold this upside down because it's still kind of fresh. It's just hard to light, and I don't want to be lighting it over and over, but man, it's smoking, so we definitely need it. We're bringing in the element of fire as well, obviously. And again, it creates an alchemy to bring in smoke. And the smoke is our third element. Can't think right now. Third element. It's showing us that there's another side. So it can be wind or smoke, but it's showing us that the veil is thin. And when we use smudging smoke, we're actually cleansing the air. We're purifying the air. And I mentioned that Virgo energy really likes cleanliness, right? This is the sign of the priestess. Holy energy, cleanliness, godliness and cleanliness, right? So when we smudge, we're getting rid of negative energy. We're getting rid of anything negative that doesn't serve the space. And I always like to smudge myself as well, all the way around. And I always send the smoke out to you and smudge the tech and everything I use to communicate, as well as this space, which I already smudged a couple of days ago. So looks like we needed to purify again. So this smoke not only gets rid of any like toxic energy, negative spirits, that sort of thing, but it also actually eliminates bacteria and virus in the air that could cause some sort of immunological, can I say that? Some sort of body threat, some sort of threat against your health. By the way, fun fact, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, and I was born in a Mercury retrograde, so it's no wonder I'm not speaking quite right tonight. But yeah, so we are purifying our space, we're purifying our energy, we're purifying our connection, and we're bringing in a brand new virgin stick of smudge, of pine needle smudge that I just brought in with this new moon. So that's pretty much done now with the smoke, which means it's done cleansing. Let's talk about our fourth element now, the element of water. Of course, you can always just have water with you. You know, water is the nectar of life, talking about taking care of our body with this Virgo new moon. So really make sure you're hydrated right now, that you're purifying your own energy. When we drink a lot of water, it really flushes our system out, and you can start to see that. Now, I want to mention that if you are just increasing your uptake of water, especially if you've been drinking other things like soda, coffee, or energy drinks, when you increase your uptake in water, you are going to have a detoxification process. You are going to have a flushing out, a purification process. You're probably going to break out. You might bloat. You might have some digestive stuff. It's all normal, and trust the process. Just keep drinking the water, and eventually all of that will go away. I have been going through a parasite cleanse, and last week my face was broke out all over the place, just like cystic acne everywhere. And now you can see my skin is really clear, and I just kept drinking my water and taking my herbs. So that's the first thing I want to mention about water. But as far as bringing in the element of water into our circle, I want to bring in the element of rose essential oil. I like to use essential oils when I work with water energy because they are collected through steam distillation. We are able to collect a very concentrated form of plant energy and put it in liquid form, which is more transferable than earth form or solid form. So when we work with the power of aromatherapy, we can work with our energy body, our physical body, and our emotional frequency all together. It's like a trifecta. And the rose oil, of course, is representing, again, this energy of the virgin, the energy of purification. And rose is actually the highest frequency oil that you can use in aromatherapy. Rose is one of the highest frequency plants. So if you're feeling a little down with this new moon, if you're kind of in that dark phase, or if gravity's just got you feeling a little tired, lethargic, kind of in your blahs, kind of in a mood, you could diffuse rose oil. You could dilute it and rub it directly on you. I'm going to put a little bit right on my heart here, and you could put it on your pulse points as well. but rose really helps to enhance your frequency. You could also make some rose tea right now, or just a side note, if you are a woman, you could do a vaginal steam right now with rose petals in the steam water. That's another beautiful thing to do right now. And this is just personally, I want to bring in a couple of drops of this high frequency holy water that actually comes from the white stream, representing Mary Magdalene energy. And this was actually sent to me by another beautiful goddess to use in ceremony, and I have not used it at all. So I felt called to use it today, and it's actually preserved in a little bit of brandy. So I'm only going to take like a drop, and I'm not consuming this. I'm actually going to do this in 3 places. I'm going to put this on my third eye for what I know, and on my wrists for what I do, and on my ankles for where I go. And by the way, this is a very easy way for you to go through an anointing process, either with yourself or somebody else. The third eye for what you know, your wrists for what you do, your ankles for where you go. And finally, let's talk about the 5th element. I already mentioned it. It's the ether. It's this place that we're connected to. It withstands space and time. It's a beautiful place for us to be holding these virtual ceremonies honoring the moon. And I'm so happy for you to be here through this space, because you can receive all of this energy with all of these elements, or you can soak it up later if you want to tune in later. So just a reminder, we've got the crystals of rose quartz. We've also got pearl. We've got aquamarine, and maybe a rose rock if you have it. We brought in the element of pine needle sage tonight to also bring in the element of smoke, the cleansing smoke of the sage, to purify our space, ourselves, and our connection, and bringing in the element of water through rose essential oil and through this holy frequency water from the white stream of Mary Magdalene's energy. And of course, the ether. And with that, our circle is officially sealed. Now, before I move on, I also want to call in the guides and the guardians of all 5 directions. This is a ceremonial space. This is a ritual that we are having. And with that, I like to invite in any other frequencies of light that want to be here as cosmic messengers and be here in a space of support with us. So you can join me in this prayer, or you could just simply listen in. I'm going to close my eyes and take a deep breath to begin. First, we will call in the guides and the guardians of the East with the element of air, the element of new beginnings with this new moon in the cosmic Virgo Virgin. Air being a sign of the rising of a new dawn, the shift into a new day, and into the opportunity to begin again. Thank you, guides and guardians of the East, for being here in our circle tonight. We also invite in the guides and the guardians of the South with the element of fire. That energy of transformation and release, burning away what no longer serves, clearing away space to grow new things. We trust in the letting go of what we need to from previous cycles of the moon, from previous experiences in our own past. And we thank the guides and the guardians of the South for being here in our circle tonight. We invite in the guides and guardians of the West with the element of water, that sweet nectar of life that helps us to be clean to help us purify, to help us flush out what doesn't serve from within. We know that the moon affects our water energy, and we thank the guides and guardians of the West for being here to support us with foundation and stability tonight. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the North with the element of earth, gravity, so strong with this new moon in Virgo, that earth sign, the sign of the human body, the sign of our own health and wellness, and our experiences that mold us into this individual that we are now. We know that the guides and guardians of the North are our ancestors, both by blood and by generation and by society and by civilization. And so we invite in the guides and guardians of the North. We thank them for being in our circle tonight, where we are having this deep human experience of reflection and intention. And finally, we invite in the guides and guardians of the fifth element, the ether, that space beyond Earth, out in the universe, in the cosmos. We invite in all of the beings beyond the Earth, our angels and archangels and deities and spirits of protection and other planetary beings and cosmic bodies of light. We invite healing frequencies to be with us in this moon circle tonight. And we thank you, guides and guardians of the ether, for being here. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. So inviting in the guides and guardians into your circle is a really easy way to honor the elements, to bring in an energy of ceremony and sacred space. We have all these beings now with us and all these energies with us now. So it just creates a more exclusive inner circle, I think. So I'm going to grab a drink of water, and then I'd like to talk a little bit more about the new moon and Virgo. If you're new to understanding the new moon, basically you can look at it like, here is the earth, my head, here is the moon, my hand, and over here on the other side is the sun. So we can't see the light side of the moon. We see the dark side of the moon, and that's why it's so dark outside right now. This is also why we are not energetically pulled up into the moon. We feel more grounded to the earth right now, and we may also be feeling a little bit more tired or lethargic or unmotivated. We may be feeling called to rest or turn within or meditate or have ritual and ceremony. These are all things that come up with the new moon. Now, each moon has an astrological influence, and this new moon happens to be in the sign of Virgo. And Virgo is the sign of the Virgin, and I want to talk about the definition of the Virgin, because it didn't always mean somebody that was sexually chaste. It actually used to mean somebody that was whole unto themselves, which means that they were typically holy people. Virgins were priestesses and people that were in the temples, and people that could not be tempted or swayed by sexual influence or otherwise by any sort of energetic influence. They're very truthful for themselves, and therefore they didn't feel like they needed to shift the way that they felt about a certain thing or shift their truth out of outer influence. So it's a really beautiful energy. And when we're in Virgo new moon energy, we're being invited to kind of reclaim ourselves and begin again. We're being called to get back to ourselves and find the wholeness in ourselves. We've shifted out of Leo season previously, and Leo is a very social sign. In fact, it's the most social sign. And Leos love attention, and because of that, they need a little extra attention and gratification. But when we shift into Virgo season, Virgo is this transitional time between summer and fall, and we are letting go of the light. We are letting go of external influence, and we're starting to turn more within. So this is a time to ask yourselves if you can be comfortable with yourself without anybody else. Can you be by yourself? Can you be with your thoughts? Can you be with your body? And can you be with kind of the reality and the honesty of it all? Virgo is a very honest sign. Lisa, let me know if this is correct, but do you kind of have no filter? Like when you tell somebody how you feel, you tell somebody how you feel. At least that's how my husband is. He's kind of an ass. I tell him that. But that's just because that's his energy. Virgos kind of just tell it as it is. They don't see the need to filter or sugarcoat or do anything like that. And that's because they're kind of like this like back to reality earth sign. She said yes, she agrees with me. So when we're in earth energy, we are having an earthly human experience. That is the reality of it. No matter how spiritual we want to be, we are human bodies having an earthly human experience. And that means that sometimes we're ruled a little bit by our ego. And sometimes our ego wants us to suffer or be a victim or have another sad story to tell. So if you find yourself right now feeling a little victimized, feeling a little like, oh, woe is me, understand that it's time to, kind of get to the reality of that and say, why are you in such self-destructive behavior? What are you doing to make yourself feel that way? And we can point the blame at everybody else, and we can put that out there. And yes, external things happen to us. 1,000% external things happen to us. But how we write our story around it, how we respond, that's what matters. And that's how we become a victim or a hero. Or maybe we're just a character in the story. But it's up to us to define that role. So right now, in this earthly human experience, if you've got a case of the blahs, you need to get back to reality and say, hey, these are the things I'm doing that I can change to make myself feel better. And that's what this Virgo new moon is all about. So Virgo, being the earthly human experience, represents the body, the physical body, and that human experience in the physical body. And if you are in dis-ease right now, then you are not going to be having a feel-good experience in your human body. Virgo wants you to get to the root of that cause and heal it, and understand that you have the power to self-heal it. Now, if you need external help, please ask for help. But ultimately, anything you do in your life to make yourself better, you have to make the choice. You have to do it. You have to take action. You have to shift and make change. So with this Virgo new moon at a time of new beginnings with the body, ask yourself if there are new, habits that you can create or new routines that you can create on a regular basis to really support your health and your overall wellness. Maybe it's something as simple as drinking more water every day. If you are just feeling emotionally off, maybe you get this highest frequency oil of rose or some sort of essence of rose and start incorporating this aromatherapy into your life. If you're just feeling like you can't get motivated, get a buddy, get a friend, find some way to be accountable for your actions, because you can't live in the la land where you're finding your all of your excuses and all of your blame elsewhere. You have to come back down to reality and say, hey, I'm in charge of this life. I reclaim my sovereignty. I take charge and take power. And then you can really, really make change. So Virgo energy, Virgos love to plan. They love a scheduler or a day planner. They love to make lists. They love to take notes. They love to prepare themselves. I mentioned I'm a Venus in Virgo. I am a list maker. I must write down the list of the things I need to do, or I do not remember them, especially when it comes to work. Believe it or not, I have to make a list, write it down, or write it in my phone in my notes, or I cannot keep it all together because I'm an airhead Libra and everything's all over the place with my creative energy all the time. But Virgos have it down. They love to organize. A lot of people that probably do professional like decluttering and organization, probably Virgos, maybe Capricorns a little bit too. But it's that earth energy. It's that I'm having the earthly experience, and Virgos have to process it by putting it all into boxes and say, okay, this experience is in this box and this is how I perceive and understand it. And I'm going to put this thing over here in this box because this is how I label and understand this. And then it's a constant list making of maybe like how you need to handle the boxes, or, you know, taking the information from the boxes, or maybe every once in a while you rearrange the boxes and put them in different boxes. You know, it's funny how it works out. Brandy says she is a Virgo sun and she is taking notes right now. That makes me laugh. Girl, I get it. Even though I'm not a Virgo, I'm a Venus in Virgo, and that's what I do. And my husband, the Virgo, doesn't make a lot of lists at home, but at work, constant list maker. So sometimes the lists show up in different ways. Okay, so yeah, list making, organization, planning, these are all great energies to embody right now. They are your strengths, Virgos. You use them to keep yourself organized. You use them to keep yourself aligned. So this is a great time that if you are an airhead messy person like I am a Libra sun and a Leo rising. So I am a mess. Literally today with this Virgo new moon, I finally, probably for the first time all year, or at least since spring or summer, organized and cleaned up my office. Some of the transmissions I've done to you have been wild. I've been like, my computer's on a stack of movies. One time my computer fell over in the middle of a live. I mean, it's been a mess, but now I have like a little desk thing for my computer, and just it's breathable in here. I got all my oils in a little cabinet hung up. I'm just going to show you. Look at that. My altar. I redid my altar for the new season. So yeah, I'm just feeling really good about my spaces, but it took this Virgo new moon to say, hey, I need to get back to reality. My office is a freaking mess. I can't focus. It's stressing me out. I need to take care of this. So I took care of it today. So if you are a messy person, you need to clean out your closets, declutter your junk drawer, you know, those sorts of things, and give it away, you know, give away the stuff that you need to give away that's junk. Throw it away or give it away or recycle it best you can. But if you need to just be rid of it, be rid of it. If there's anything with negative energy attached to it or negative history or story, be rid of it. You don't have to throw it away. Maybe you give it to somebody else and that energy transforms into something good and new, but it's not serving you. So you've got to let it go with this new moon. You got to let it go. If you are a person that kind of needs to digitally declutter or organize, this is a really important time to do that, because at the end of this lunar cycle, Mercury is going into retrograde. September 27th, Mercury goes into retrograde. So any form of communication, your phone, your computer, digitally declutter it, organize, back up your files, do all of that fun stuff, back up your photos, your music, those sorts of things, maybe your whole phone. Back it up, whatever you need to do. What else comes up with this Virgo energy? Really just virginity itself in the sense of sexuality. So that's another thing I want to talk about. And we're going to talk about the Vedic side of astrology, which will really tie this in together. But the other thing you do want to think about is the concept of the modern day virgin, somebody who is sexually chaste. Now you can reclaim, I want to make this very important. This is a very clear message, and this is coming through from the cosmos. This is coming through from God, universe, goddess, I want you to know that no matter where you are in your sexual experiences in your life, even if you have already, quote, lost your virginity, you have the power to reclaim your virginity, reclaim your chastity, reclaim your wholeness, your pureness, your sovereignty anytime you want to. Anytime you want to. And that doesn't mean that you even go as so far to say I'm going to be sexually chaste moving forward, but maybe your virginity is embracing purification in other ways. Maybe it's saying that you're not going to let yourself be penetrated with negative energy. Maybe you're not going to be penetrated by the media, who is heavily influenced by money and propaganda. Maybe you're not going to allow yourself to be penetrated by toxic music, toxic movies, toxic TV shows. Maybe you're not going to allow yourself to be penetrated by other people's toxic energy, or you're not going to let people take advantage of you anymore. So, you can reclaim your virginity in a variety of ways. And yes, you can be sexually chaste if that's what you feel called to do right now as well. When I had my son, my birthing process, since it's Labor Day and all, I had a 60-hour labor. Despite being a prenatal certified yogi, despite doing yoga through my pregnancy, despite having a super healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby, I had a 60-hour labor. And I mention that because it was a very traumatic thing on my body. I pushed him for 5 hours because he was stuck in my pelvis, and it was just I did not expect to purple push, so to say, but to not only do it, but do it for 5 hours. And so there was a lot of pelvic floor trauma. I barely tore. I had like 1.5 stitches, but I had pelvic floor trauma and weakness as a result. And I mean, no mama really wants to get busy with their partner after having a baby. But I really did not want to get busy with my partner for a very long time, just being honest, because I had this trauma to my pelvic floor, and I knew that I needed to take time to not be penetrated, to not have more force on this area of my body, so that I could truly tune into it and self-heal it. And that was really important to me. So I totally went chaste. After I had my son, I said, I am going to reclaim my virginity, and I am going to reintroduce this concept into my body, and I'm going to purify what I need to let go of, and out of that I will be a stronger woman because of it. And luckily I have a husband who really understood, but I was chaste for probably, 6 months, 5-6 months, something like that. It was a long time. But I felt like that was what was important to me. So I just share that story because I want you to understand that you can reclaim your virginity at any time that you're working on any self-healing process with the womb, with the yoni, with the reproductive area. If you've been sexually assaulted, or if you've had any trauma there, it's important to take times to just be with the energy and to be with yourself without any external force or penetration, so that you can really, really allow a lot of energy to go there and regenerate those spaces to purify whatever they need to purify without bringing in extra energy. I can't really say what I'm going to say there, but you get what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let's shift over now to the Vedic side of things, because this is going to tie in together. And I always talk about Vedic astrology with the moon, and I'm no expert, by the way, but it's just something that I like to bring into our moon circles. I traveled to India about 4 years ago, became very fascinated with Vedic astrology, and I have been tuning into it ever since and studying it ever since. This moon is in the lunar mansion, or the nakshatra known as Purva Palguni Nakshatra. Purva Palguni Nakshatra. This is a star of growth and creation, and it's also it kind of resides in the tail of the Leo constellation. It can also be represented by a swinging hammock, a ripe fruit, or the marriage bed. Leo is a very sexual, playful energy. This is a time I mentioned with the energy of Virgo and the Virgin moon to kind of embrace that virginity in a sexual way. Maybe this is a time that you conceive. Maybe this is a time that you are trying to embrace your fertility and create life. This is a really good time to come together with your partner. This is also a good time to come together romantically with your partner no matter what, but be aware it could be a fertile time. So if you are not trying to conceive, take your precautions, be safe. But, this is also a time of creation itself. And a lot of creation happens actually in the process of the non-doing, of the unknown. Even conception itself is still kind of this unknown magical process that happens. And statistically is kind of rare and awesome that it happens the way that it does. So, this is a time to really trust in what you desire and what you want to bring forth into this world, but also maybe blindly trust the process or lean into, moving towards your goals with a little bit of blind faith. So this star of creation is represented by both Venus, the planet Venus, and the deity Bhaga. Now, Venus is the planet of wealth, abundance, pleasure, sexuality, love, romanticism, art, aesthetic. Bhaga is a blind deity, literally was blinded by Lord Shiva out of his desires, his lust. Lord Shiva blinded him so that he could no longer be lustful with his eyes. But he kind of showers us with wealth and abundance blindly. So I don't know if you know a lot of stories about Cupid and Aphrodite, but there's this whole love is blind phrase, if you've ever heard that. And that's because based on how you look at it, either Cupid or Aphrodite was blinded. So the arrow kind of shot wherever, and, she fell in love or he fell in love with whoever. And we've seen the cartoons and stuff where that happens. But it's this reminder that, sometimes we discover things in the darkness. Love is blind. Sometimes we find things that we love out of simply soul searching without direction. Sometimes we just lean into the excitement of it, and out of that something really blossoms. I also mentioned that this is the ripe fruit, which also could symbolize fertility, but it could be the ripe fruit of your next step or your next gift you're about to discover within yourself, or your next big thing that's coming. But you're never going to discover it if you're always leaning into structure and plans and your schedules and your list. So this is kind of like Virgo with the Virgin energy, but it's also kind of the opposite of Virgo because it's saying, hey, let go and kind of just go into the darkness and see what comes out of it. Like, go on a little walkabout, go on a soul searching adventure and see what you discover, because there could be lots of wealth and abundance and treasure out of that explorative journey. This is also an invitation to dive into your shadow work. For out of your shadow work, you will find more light and more self-healing. Remember that when we ultimately think about wealth and abundance, yes, we can think about money, we can think about success and power and control and those sorts of things. But really, it's about your health and your happiness. Your health and your happiness. Because if you don't have your health, you are not happy, right? And if you have your health, but you don't have your happiness, well, you're not feeling very good either. So you need to, gear your energy towards the things that make you feel healthy, happy, complete, and whole, bringing in that wholeness of the Virgin energy, that person who is whole unto themselves. So Purva Palguni Nakshatra just reminds you that, hey, wealth and abundance is everywhere. It's just out there for you to discover it. Sometimes you just need to get excited and kind of take a blind leap of faith. Sometimes you just got to dive in and don't let the old things hold you back anymore. Okay. So there's two things I want to do with you tonight. The first one I want to do is a chanting practice. The second one is the tarot reading I have pulled for this new moon. We're going to start with the chanting practice because this is a great moon for ceremony and routine. And when we chant, we really put out a frequency of something that we want to attract back. And we can bring in chants for all different kinds of things. Tonight, we're going to bring in a mantra for our wholeness, for our health, for our alignment and our energy, and to embrace that energy of the Virgo new moon. So this is a chant I've been personally doing because I've been working on some self-healing, doing this cleanse and just some other things, reclaiming my health. Some of you that have been with me for a while know that I had a really weird skin thing that I've been dealing with for almost 2 years now, off and on. And I'm so happy to say I have no skin stuff anymore. Nothing on my arms, nothing on my hands, nothing on my fingers, nothing anywhere. The skin is finally healing. I feel like a snake that has been like constantly shedding, and it's finally healed. And I'm still going through a cleanse and I'm still going through a process with all of it, but it's finally getting there. So this is a chant that I've been using myself, but I think it's perfect for this Virgo new moon. The chant is, or the mantra is, I am healthy, I am happy, I am whole. I am healthy, I am happy, I am whole. We're going to say this 9 times. Let's take a deep breath to start and a deep breath out. Just kind of shake it out, let it go. You could close your eyes if you want. Join me now. 9 times. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. Take a deep breath in. Close the eyes if you haven't already. Deep breath out. Let it sink in. Let this be a mantra of truth for you. You are healthy. You are happy. You are whole. Bringing in that mantra, I am, is so powerful. It really defines us. It really writes that story for our ego. It puts that label on us to satisfy that urge to define, but it also defines us in the highest alignment of healthy, happy, whole, complete. Breathe into this chant, maybe 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then blink your eyes open. Feel free to let me know how that felt for you. We did 9, by the way, because 9 is the energy of the goddess. So you can do your mantras 9 times right now, or any sort of increment of 9. If you wanted to do a full 108, 12 times 9, that could be a really holy way to honor the energy as well. Anytime you do bring 108 into your rituals or practice, you're really honoring a divine type of energy. So I have the tarot that I have pulled for tonight, and I want to share that with you. But before I do, I'm going to take a drink and I'm going to grab a deep breath. Okay. Just taking a moment to call on the energy of the cards and any messages that need to come through, both to me or anybody else on this transmission. Let this tarot reading be clear, and may it serve all who are tuning in. So I tend to pull 3 cards, and I pulled the past, present, and future card this time around. I pulled from the Tarot of the Divine deck. I felt that this was appropriate, being the priestess, goddess type of energy with this new moon in Virgo. So our past card, I actually pulled reversed. This is the reversed 4 of Cups. It's the story of the nightingale. And cups always represent emotions. 4 of Cups can represent a kind of sense of jealousy. It's the grass is always greener on the other side type of vibe. And, you know, being tuned into social media more than ever now, I think that this, you know, this is a card that is showing us that we have been comparing ourselves unnecessarily. We've been, you know, isolated more. We haven't been out as much. And so we've been only projecting probably the best version of ourselves, or mostly the best version of ourselves, on social media. And with that becomes, you know, a feeling of a need to compare to others to see how they're doing. Or, you know, if we're feeling like we're in a panic state, well, why isn't Sally in a panic state? Or why, you know, if I'm not doing successful financially, why is Jim doing so successful financially? You know, we get into kind of this comparison game. And this is a past card, this reversed 4 of Cups. So it's saying, hey, you know, you might think that everybody else has it better than you, or everybody else has a better life, or better things than you, better relationships, whatever. But the truth is, you're going to see down the road that you had things going good too. You just didn't see it because you were too busy looking on the other side of the fence. So this reversed 4 of Cups is asking you to, you know, tune within and maybe ask yourself why you feel that way, if you are feeling that way. I talked about a quote. I write up the tarot readings, by the way. They're on my website, and I'll put that up by tomorrow. But there's a quote by Theodore Roosevelt. Comparison is the thief of joy. And it truly is. We have to embrace the gifts that we have in our own life, the value that we have in our own life, because hindsight is always 20/20, right? And we'll look back and say, man, we had a gift and we just didn't see it, right? Usually that is the gift of time. And the past card usually does represent kind of this like time concept of past, present, future, right? So these past 18 months or 2 years or longer, many of us have been very isolated. We've had to do things different professionally. We've had to do things different socially. We have been home more. And we might have looked at that as a curse rather than a blessing. But the truth is, we probably have more isolation to go through and more times of just being with ourselves in the future. So we need to look back at this time we've already had and say, what are the gifts I uncovered? Or what are the things I could have uncovered or could have developed or created out of that sacred space and time, that sacred pause where I didn't have so much else to do with my usual routine or my usual life? You know, sometimes we need to be turned upside down so that we take a different perspective. So this reversed 4 of Cups is simply asking you to reflect, to look back, to find the value, to find the gifts, and to not make the same mistake moving forward, to really find the value in your life instead of always attaching to the comparison, the negative comparison of others' lives. So for our present card, I also pulled a reversed card. I pulled the 8 of Wands. And the 8 of Wands are a symbol of alchemy. 8 is the symbol of infinity. And we are in a serious retrograde period right now. There are 5 cosmic bodies in retrograde and more to come. And, you know, we're kind of in this infinite loop of karmic time right now. Again, speaking on time. This is the Virgo new moon. This is the moon where we're drawn back into reality. The reality of our human body and the repercussions of our actions and how we've been living. It's also a time that we're invited back into our human experience to also reflect on the life we've been living and whether we've been working towards our intentions and higher self or not. And there can be a little bit of restlessness and boredom that comes with the reversed Eight of Wands. You know, Eight of Wands represents quick change, decision, action, getting things done. But when it's reversed, it's the opposite. So this is a time where, you know, things are slowing down, or you may feel stuck. You might feel like a bird caught in the wind. You may not know where to go from here. The moon is in the nakshatra of Purva Palguni, right? In Vedic astrology. It's a symbol of blind faith towards growth, development, and creation. So this reversed Eight of Wands is telling us with this new moon to go into the darkness, to dive into the shadows, to dive into the unknown, to get excited about the passions and pursuits that you could take, but don't worry about how to get there. Just kind of get into it. Get your hands dirty. Get lost in the journey and see what you discover along the way, because you never know. When you kind of break free of your typical schedule and routine, you might discover something brand new that supports you in a better way. Finally, for our future card, I pulled an upright card. I pulled the Three of Swords. I've been pulling a lot of swords for our future cards, and this is no different. The swords are a time of detachment, release, letting go, breaking bonds, cutting cords. The three is related to relationship. I believe that this card is telling us that there's going to be some shakeups and breakups in the future. Venus is going to be moving into Scorpio, the sign of the underworld, the sign of death. She's also going to be opposing Uranus, the planet of revolution, shakeups, and breakups. So I think that as we move forward, we need to be really careful of our actions, asking ourselves how they not only affect us, but the relationships around us. I think that this is also a kind of a guidance for us to, it's an invitation for us to cut ties with toxic relationships, toxic ties, toxic attachments. This doesn't have to just be people. It can also be attachments to other things, but I think it's ultimately pertaining to relationships with people, and especially romantic relationships. So I think we're going to see some romantic relationships break up. I think we're going to see some divorce. I think we're going to see some of those things over the next month or so. But, you know, any relationship that you lose along this journey, know that it's creating space for something better. It's creating space for something new. And it's so hard to see that at the time. This could literally be death as well. You might experience like an actual literal death of somebody that you love. Might just be a friend or family member or something. It might just be somebody you cherish, like a guru or a famous person. But there's some loss, some separation coming in relationship in the future. And it's really training for everything to come. You know, we're shifting into this new age. We're going to start gravitating towards more like-minded individuals. And with that, there's probably going to be some severing of some old bonds and relationships that were tied to the old world, the old ways, and that Capricornian like type of thinking that was in that old age. So I've experienced this in my own life. I've definitely, I wouldn't say let go, but some relationships have just dissolved that were pretty powerful and pretty strong, 2 years ago. But differences of opinion, right? And that's what's happening right now. So Three of Swords is just saying, hey, you're going to have to cut some ties. You're going to have to break some bonds, and you really need to detach from the holding on of it. You've got to let go so that you can create room for something more, something good, something better. So just to recap for our past card, the reversed Four of Cups tells us that hindsight is always 20/20, and you are going to regret what you don't find value in. Stop comparing yourself to others and start valuing your life as it is right now. Present card, the reversed Eight of Wands, bringing us into the energy of this retrograde season, this Virgo new moon, a time of new beginnings, but a time of maybe developing more patience, embracing that everything has an action and reaction. And right now we are simply in a time of discovery. It's a time to dive into the darkness and shadows and see what you uncover when you let go of being so tied into doing the same thing over and over. And for the future, the Three of Swords says, cut the ties, cut the cords, create space for new, get rid of what is penetrating your energy in a toxic or traumatic way. So I hope this tarot reading and this circle have served you tonight. Moon sisters, moon brothers, everybody on this transmission. Whether you're tuning in live or you're tuning into the replay, I just want to thank you for taking a little time out of your day to spend with me. It's such an honor to be doing these circles. I've been doing these for several years now, and I've been doing them consistently. I think I missed like one in the past year or so. So I just love spending this time with you in the ether. It's a place that I love to connect. So I just want to thank you for being here tonight. If you have anything that you want to say in the chat, if you have any questions, anything that's coming up for you right now, please take the time to share. We're just coming up on our about an hour together. So I want to be mindful and honor your time tonight. Lisa says, thank you. Thanks for tuning in, Lisa. Happy Virgo new moon to my fellow Virgo sister there. But yeah, anything that you want to mention. And if you're tuning into the replay and you want to put something in the comments as well, please feel free to do so. I do go back and check them and respond to them as well. So just a couple of things that are coming up. You know, this is a time to really honor your health, your wellness, your alignment, this Virgo new moon. And I want to invite you, if you haven't signed up already, I do have a free stress and anxiety relief workshop that is coming up online on my Mother Moon Yoga Facebook page this Friday, September 10th at 7 p.m. Central Time. So you can head over to the Mother Moon Yoga Facebook page, or you can go to my website and click on live events and you will find it there. If you sign up to receive the recording, you can tune into last year's workshop right away. Just kind of a gift I have for you. So that's the first thing coming up. And then the other thing coming up is the next time we meet will be for the Pisces full moon. So that'll be 2 weeks from now on Monday the 20th. This will also be at 7:30 Central Time in the evening, and we'll be honoring that Pisces energy, water sign. It's the opposite of Virgo energy, a little bit more dreamy, kind of outer space, outer reality. It'll be an interesting energy to see how we feel when we get to 2 weeks from now. So yeah, it looks like nobody has any questions or comments. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but I will either see you online Friday the 10th on my Mother Moon Yoga Facebook page for the stress and anxiety relief workshop, or I will see you on Monday, September 20th at 7:30 p.m. Central Time here on the Vina Lene page for the Pisces full moon. Until we connect again, tribe, sending you so many blessings with this new moon. Namaste.